What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to do our first mods on the S15. Alright, so like I previously just said, we are doing the first mods on our new S15. So, I'm going to show you guys, for those who haven't seen, this is our 2000 Nissan Silvia S15 Varietta. So, it is a convertible. It is not the coupe version of the S15. And it is automatic, bone stock, has 72,000 kilometers on it. As you can see, inside is very stock, and it is not SR20 DET, it is NA. So yeah, nothing too exciting, but this is going to be an interesting car to build and enjoy. Like I've said in previous videos, we are going to do things to this car in stages. I'm not going to go crazy and rip the car apart like some of the other cars that are in here. And don't worry, guys, if you've were originally watching S13 content, that is coming back. I believe our previous video, we already were working on the S13 again. So, yeah. But this video, we are working on the S15. Not anything crazy. I'm gonna show you guys today. We are just gonna do some basic maintenance. So this car just came. We just got it registered, and we haven't done anything to it since it arrived. So we should do some basic maintenance. So we're at least gonna do an oil change on it. We've got the filter, and as you can see, the headlights on this S15 could be better. They're not great. So I am going to be trying this Cerakote headlight restoration kit. Usually I use the Meguiar's with like the drill and stuff, but this kit apparently doesn't need any tools, and it's supposed to last a really long time, opposed to some of the other ones that I've used, or the Meguiar's one that I've used. It kind of hazes up again after a couple months, and you have to do it again. So hopefully this one, reviews have been good, but I will show you guys the results on that. And then lastly, something a little simple is JDM cars have JDM license plates, and they have a smaller spacing for the bolt holes. So right now the plate that's on here is only being held on with one bolt. Same thing on the back. So this is something I did on the Mark II. I'm just gonna make my own license plate adapters, I guess. So it's going to adapt the JDM plate holes to USDM or North American license plates. Because I went on Amazon and people want like 40 bucks or something for a pair of them. So I'm going to show you guys. It's pretty simple. You just need some pieces of aluminum and some hardware, and I will show you guys how to get JDM to North American license plate bracket adapter for, if you can do it yourself. I think the material costed me like, the aluminum material costed me like 10 bucks. So yeah, anyways, we are gonna jump right into this. So I'm gonna get the car up in the air. This will also be the first time looking underneath this car. So yeah, let's get the car up in the air and we'll take a look. All right, so this is actually my first time looking underneath this car. So that is pretty interesting. This is definitely cool. All of the under tray stuff is here. As you can see, it's automatic. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with the condition of this car. I mean, it is a 2000, so it's 25 years old, so it's got a little bit of I guess, like, you can see a little bit of brown, like, rust areas, but it's not actually like real rust. It seems like maybe it's just from being in the shipping container coming over. Some of the stuff, like if you actually look, these bolts are still yellow from like the original zinc coating. Look at this one. This one's pretty cool. And look at this tiny little exhaust. Yeah, that's cool. Good to see. Like I said, I mean, obviously, if you guys saw the video, this car was in the container and, you know, we had to bring it down. It was hanging in the container, but I didn't really take a close look at it at that time because the concern was to just get the car down more than anything. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. So what we are going to do is we're going to do our oil change, which is pretty straightforward. I am not going to walk you guys through any of that because I mean, we all know how to do an oil change. But yeah, that's always fun. So if you guys ever watched any of the previous videos and like the oil cooler video on the S13, I don't know if you can see, but the oil filter is in there, and that's gonna be fun because yeah, the oil should come drain all over the cross member and everything, so that's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna get the oil drained and put the filter on, do the oil change, and then we'll jump into the real thing, which is the license plate bracket and the headlight restoration kit. so with our oil change done, we can move on to the real task at hand, which is going to be the plate adapter. So I've pulled the plates off the car already, and it's pretty simple. All it really is we need to measure the distance between these two holes, and we are going to drill those holes into this bracket or this piece of aluminum, right? So we're going to drill the two holes into this piece of aluminum, and then we are going to drill another two holes into this piece for the license plate. So I will show you guys to give you an idea. So what's on here is the Japan license plate bracket. Now this is actually one of those ones that light up, which is super cool to me. If I can somehow find some of those light up plates, or the plates don't light up, it's the bracket that lights up. So if I can find those transparent plates to put on this car just for shows or whatever, I think it would be super cool. But yeah, to give you an idea, so you can see that the holes here compared to our plate is actually wider. So that's why we need to adapt it, and essentially we are going to drill those holes, countersink them, mount this to the bracket, and then we're going to have two other holes for our plate drilled and tapped for the plate to screw into the bracket. It's pretty simple. I'm not going to explain it any more than that, because we should just jump right into making this. So we are going to bring these over to our metal table, and I'm going to transfer those measurements onto these two pieces, and we'll just drill them, tap them, countersink them, finish off the corners, and that'll basically be it. So let's do that. So we're going to measure the holes and get an idea, center to center. Yeah, it looks like 8 and 3/16. So we're going to remember that number, 8 and 3/16. And then we are going to measure now the holes on the license plate. And we're going to go center to center again. So the holes on the license plate should be, I would say, 7 inches. All right, so what was those numbers? 8 and 3/16 and 7 inches. So let's get that transferred over. All right, so before we transfer those measurements over, I'm going to just square up the edges of this, because I had cut these already. So, and I probably mentioned, or I probably forgot to mention, these are cut in 10-inch pieces. So this is 10 inches by 1 inches, and the thickness on these is a 1/4 inch. So that's the material we're using. It is aluminum, flat stock. It is 10 inches long by 1 inches wide and a 1/4 inch thick. So I'm gonna square these off, probably round the corners, and then we can move on. Alright, so we rounded the corners on these two pieces, and now we can go ahead and transfer those measurements onto them. So what did we say? 8 and 3/16 and then 7 inches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure this is still, I mean, we didn't take too much off, but it's always good to double check. So we are, yeah, so that actually took off a 1/16. It was 10 inches before. Okay, this one is still 10 inches. This one's still 10 inches. This one is, actually it's just shy, it's not even a 1/16. So we'll just go ahead and say it's still 10 inches. What I'm gonna do is we are going to find, we'll use the 10 inches. So we'll use the piece that's still 10 inches, and we are going to find our center. Okay, so center is going to be 5. And then obviously our center for the width is going to be 1/2 inch. So now we have our center, got our center line. Okay, so now we've got our center line. If I can, got our, okay, so we've got our center line width-wise, I mean technically width-wise and height-wise, right? Because we're going to put it on like this. So now we need to measure out the 8 and 3/16. So we're going to do that by marking Alright, so luckily this ruler has 30 seconds and 64ths, because if you had to go, if you only had 16ths and we're at 4 and 3/16, we wouldn't be able to split that up. So I'm just going to double check here. 5 is right here. And we are going to measure, so we're going for 4. Alright, so basically we're gonna go for 4 and 2, 4, 6 64ths. Okay, so it's really hard to see this, but that is basically right here, which is crazy. We're gonna do the same thing over here. 4 and 6. Six 64ths. Okay, so in theory, if our measurements are right, we're putting our hole right there. Right here and right here. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing on this one. Alright, so we got the holes drilled, as you can see, and we countersunk them so that these bolts can sit in flush, because these ones are going to bolt to the car, so they need to be flush so that the license plate can sit up against them. So next, the other measurement we said was 7, so we're going to measure from the center 3.5, and that is going to be our holes for the license plate that we're going to have to tap. So just like we did before, we're going to measure out 3.5, we'll mark them, punch them and drill them, and then we'll tap them, and then we should be done. Alright, so check it out. This is basically it. That's how simple it is. So we basically just drilled 2 outside holes, countersunk them, and then we drilled 2 inside holes and tapped them. Now I know I tapped them with a drill. Don't hate on me, guys, but this isn't anything that takes that much precision or strength. It's just a license plate bracket. So I figure this is still just like the raw aluminum finish, still has like printing on the back of it. So I'm going to throw this in the vapor honer and they should come out just more consistent finish. So throw that in here, and with a little YouTube magic, and just like that, these guys should be looking real good. Yeah, so you probably can't really tell the difference, but the printing is gone and the marks are gone, and it's actually a just plain kind of like silver finish. So I'm gonna blow these off, dry them, and then we can put them on the car. All right, so this is the end result. So we've got our adapter bracket here, vapor hone, so it's just a nice consistent finish. And like I showed you before, we are going to use these M6x1 counter or tapered bolts, and those go in the counter sunken holes. That way our bracket is bolted to the car. Snug them up. Okay, so the plate is going to bolt into the two inner holes that we drilled and tapped. Okay, so we just got to center them up and snug them tight. And that's it. That's how we adapt a North American plate to a JDM plate or plate holder, because a lot of these Japanese cars, that's what they come with. So that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to throw the back plate on, and then we can move on to the next mod, which is going to be trying to restore the headlights. So let's put on the back plate, and then I will pick this back up when we're ready to do the headlights. All right, there we go. So front plate is on and the back plate is on as well. And that's as simple as it is. Just a matter of cutting some aluminum material and drilling 4 holes, tapping 2 of them, and countersinking 2 of them. So now let's move on to the headlights. I don't know if you can tell from camera, but these headlights have kind of like a hazy brown tint to it, so I'm hoping that this headlight restoration kit from Cerakote is going to get these looking fresh again. My wife does have S15 headlights, brand new ones, that she got way back in the day, because she was originally planning to S15 front end convert her car. So we do have these brand new S15 headlights, but no, I don't really want to use these. I don't think we should use them. I think we should, like, that's okay. You know what? Get this out of the box here. Safely. Oh jeez, one hand fun. Alright, so I'm gonna give you guys a look here. Put this over here. Alright, so I don't know. Okay, now you should be able to see the difference. So this is what new S15 headlights look like, and this is what the ones on our car looks like. So worst case scenario, we can use these on the car, but I don't really want to. I'd rather try and restore these, because other than this, there's nothing wrong with them. So I'm gonna put this back and start masking up around the headlight so that we can start wet sanding it. All right, so we've got the bumper area masked up, and now we can take a look at our Cerakote headlight restoration kit. So it says complete car kit, 3 easy steps, no power tools required. So yeah, let's open this up. It should be pretty straightforward. It should be the same as any other restoration kit. I think what the difference is, like, so essentially what you're doing is you're just wet sanding the outside of the headlight with super fine grit yeah, so you can see it says 3000 grit. And let's see what the other one is. Okay, so 3000 and 2000. So yeah, it's pretty much the same as, should be pretty much the same as any other headlight restoration kit. I think what the difference is the sealer that you're putting on, and that's why I wanted to try this, because I think what some of these newer companies are doing is you're essentially, after you polish the headlight, that's just what you're doing with the high grit sandpaper and water, wet sanding it. Essentially all you're doing is you're sealing it with, I think what people are doing, or what these companies are doing now, is you're sealing it with the Cerakote, which should last a lot longer than the traditional headlight restoration kits. So those you use to polish them, and then you would seal it by applying like a wax onto it, or like some other type of paste or solution. And that wouldn't last that long. You'd have to do it after a couple months. So I think this is going to be the same as any other kit, except for the final step. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. All right, so in the box we have got a oxidation remover. We've got 4 of them, looks like. And then, oh, actually we've got a whole bunch of them. We got like 8 of them. Yeah, so this is what I'm talking about. Ceramic clear coating. So I think that's what makes it last so long. But this should be interesting. I'm gonna see if this does take off some of this yellowing, since this is step 1. I would assume step 2 is, yep, step 2 is wet sanding it, and then step 3 is applying this to it. So let's just bang this out. It shouldn't need too much explanation, so we'll just time lapse this. So this is step 1, and they actually give you 8 of these oxidation remover wipes, and they tell you to use all of them. So basically 4 per headlight, and you just rub it in a circular motion all over, fully saturating the headlight and turning it over, using the entire thing. So you can see that the wipes instantly become yellow or brown, and right away you can kind of see the headlight is clearing up already. So I was pretty impressed by this, and I ended up using all the wipes for both headlights, and it right away looked significantly better already. So we finish this up and then move on to step 2. So once you're done with step 1 wipes, they tell you to wipe off all the liquid or solution from the wipes. So that's all I'm doing here with a wet microfiber rag. So with step 1 complete, we can move on to step 2, which is basically just wet sanding the headlights. So we start off with a 2000 grit sandpaper, keeping it wet and just moving side to side, up and down, and fully covering the headlight surface. And then once we're done with that, we move on to 3000 grit and do the same thing. And you basically just keep repeating until you see that the headlight is fully hazy once it's dry. Okay, so here I'm just blowing off the headlight with some compressed air to fully dry it. That way I can see if it is fully hazed and if I miss any spots. So once we're okay with how hazy the headlight is, we move on to step 3, which is the final step, which is the ceramic coating wipe. So you can see as soon as you wipe it on, it instantly makes it clear and shiny again. And this is what's supposed to make it last longer than traditional headlight restoration kits. So I do both headlights, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so here is the end results. It does have to dry. It says 60 minutes for it to dry. The stuff inside there, it's not really going to come out. I have a feeling that's on the inside, if you can see that. But the outside looks pretty good. Yeah, I'll show you that I did the other one at the same time. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Does it look better than when it originally started? I mean, I don't think the headlights were that bad. They just had this sort of dark brownish tint to them. But yeah, so I'm gonna let this dry. Maybe I'll pick it back up in an hour to show you guys what it looks like. But it just says to let it dry for an hour and not let it come in contact with water. So if this works and it lasts for more than 6 months or more than a year, then that's great. But that is gonna be it for this video. I guess it sucks. I don't want to cut it short, but I want to get this video out. So I'm gonna let these dry. You guys will see it in the next video, the results. It shouldn't be too different from this once it's dry, but I guess we'll find out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. I know that these first mods for the S15 were kind of boring or kind of basic, but that's kind of what we have to do on a brand new car. Like, how would we put the plates on? And an oil change is pretty standard. We don't know if the oil was new or old or whatever. So I plan on driving this car soon, so I want it to be good to go. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this car. Do you guys like this car? Do you think it's weird? We've got more mods in the next episode. It's gonna be something a lot more rewarding, somewhere around here. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.